Welcome to Forever Exiled, a Path of Exile podcast. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Episode 90.
Woohoo. Oh, I didn't even look up a hockey player.
There's none. Nobody's ever had number 90.
Shoot. I mean, some of the other ones were so easy.
It was never allowed.
Players who wore 90.
I feel like you could have just said number 90. Like you probably could have done that way faster. Sure, let's just pause the beginning of our podcast. Our 90th
all right.
Forever Exiled. You didn't find anybody? See? I don't think it was allowed.
It was too quick. No.
I think that was a rule. Couldn't be 90.
All right.
Anyway, episode 90.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty sweet. 10 away from our final episode. And finally giving away the car.
That's right. We should just stop at 99. Let's be like,
sorry guys, we couldn't get our hands on the car, so no 100th episode.
Oh man, what episode did we promise to give away a car?
I feel like it was 5 or 6. I don't actually remember, but it was early on.
Yeah, we were desperate.
You're still hanging on.
Yeah, that's right.
One day it's coming. Anyway, big shout out to our Patreons. Thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast. You're awesome. If you're curious what our Patreon is, you can find information down below. But the biggest benefit is you get access to After Dark, which is our podcast after this podcast, where we talk about more stuff and things and life and whatever. Anyway, you guys are awesome.
Pretty
Thanks.
awesome. Speaking of patrons, does your wife listen to our show?
No.
Did she ever?
No.
My wife, she was so fantastic, right? Like she's the worker, I stay at home, and so it's, we have this dedicated thing every Friday night. You and I get together, so screw you, family. Our wives have to do everything that evening, whatever's going on, and it's super nice of them, really nice of them. And Erin was really excited, my wife, really excited about how things were progressing and going, and how successful it was, and it was very sweet of her. And for a long time, she was listening quite
to the first 20 minutes, maybe.
No, even though she's not a PoE, like she actually really likes the game PoE. She's finally admitted that she just doesn't have the time to even get started in it. So, and she knows it's a rabbit hole. Like she knows she'll love it. As soon as she dabbles in it, it'll be really hard for her to stop. But no, my point is kind of like for the first 30 shows, she would listen. And then all of a sudden people started talking about other rad podcasts by people way cooler than us. Like, I don't know, who is it?
Impossible.
No, like the Simple Cast. Who is it that you listen to? Jason Bateman.
Oh yeah, that's a great podcast.
Yeah. And then
I don't remember what it's
something
called,
like
but it
that.
is a good
Anyway,
one.
yeah. And so then she kind of got on a train of all these other ones. So anyway, she hasn't listened for like 50 episodes. But the other day, she burst out laughing. She was knitting at the table. I'm gaming in the living room, and she just burst out laughing. She's always listening to something, right? Has something in her earphones.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ask her what's up. I'm racing at the same time with Chris and Ryan. I ask her what's up, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just listening to the After Dark that we were in again." It's so funny. Like,
that was a fun one.
Yeah, I think she's listened to it about 4 or 5 times since. It's kind of cool to hear yourself on a show, but at the same time, we should do it again. Set a new benchmark.
Nah,
maybe
I
know.
One
well,
day.
I know, but nobody cares how much you have to edit. I was thinking how
What's
just
the
set a
benchmark now?
a new benchmark. Get our group of friends to, hey, you can be on the show if you do this.
Yeah,
might have to happen before PoE 2, depending on the news we get coming up.
Oh, they got
soon.
lots of time then. They got lots of time then. Yeah, no, she doesn't listen to it. She listens to me talk about it, and she would listen to maybe the first 15 minutes, the part that everybody loves. Yeah, I'm talking to you out there with your comments.
PoE people hate the first 15 minutes. People that know us love the first 15 minutes.
We like to talk. This is a podcast that we like to chat with each other, and then eventually we talk about Path of Exile.
Eventually.
Yeah, it's a Path of Exile podcast featuring buds.
Buds. What a Canadian term. Our
90th episode, we're recording at 12:30 in the afternoon our time, which never happens.
Right.
Normally we were recording at like 8-ish. We usually get going around 8 o'clock in the evening. And it's a nice change. I gotta say, you look way better in the light.
I work out.
Yeah, that sun is doing good things for you, bud.
It's weird. The artificial light they have that cost like $3 from the dollar store. No, it really doesn't bring out my good side.
You look a little dead.
Where are your kids right now?
My kids are out with my wife. She's got the day off. She takes Fridays off in the summer.
Oh, look at me.
Yeah, she likes to try and take Friday off to hang out with the kids in the summer. So my oldest is working. The other 3 are out somewhere with her. I've been in meetings all morning, but I was like, if we could do this, it would be awesome.
Let's do it.
And your kids?
They're at a sleepover with my mom. But you missed it. I was gonna like burn you And then you just asked all kindly how my kids were doing. I was
what
going to
was your
say,
burn?
I was
What
going
was
to
I
say,
gonna
at least your kids have one good parent because
Oh,
she's hanging out with them.
burn.
Yeah, I
Good
know. But then
one.
you interrupted with something nice.
That's
Before
good.
we get into how our weeks were, though, I wanted to thank everybody. We received a lot of really kind messages, and it's really nice. Every week we get a lot of encouragement and thanks for the content we put out. And so I just wanted to give a special shout out because it is very nice for you to go out of your way, take the time to do that. We really appreciate it. And so just wanted to give you a big thank you.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yes.
How's your week, Ty? Tell me about it.
We played Baldur's Gate number 2.
2 enhanced
That was awesome.
edition.
Yeah. Enhanced.
Yeah, it was fun.
And kind of confusing. It was like trying to, I mean, very different game, but I felt like I was trying to play PoE without not knowing PoE. You know what I mean? Like it really doesn't hold your hand. It just expects you to know things. And if you don't know them, well, you'll either figure it out or you'll quit. And I actually quite enjoyed it because it's a very different RPG experience than our group is used to. It's very, like, it's made by Dungeons and Dragons, and it's very much a Dungeons and Dragons thing. But if you're not used to the mentality of that style of tabletop role-playing game, you're kind of like, it's a lot slower than you would think.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm kind of curious to see how it goes. I'm committed to beating it, like doing a full run through with you. Yep.
All right. Well, let's do those.
So if you're up for it. Otherwise,
things.
you were kind of iffy. I kind of felt like you were on the fence about whether you were liking it or not by the end, but it was just cool.
It was really cool for me.
I don't understand a lot about it still.
Yeah, there were some very basic concepts to the game that I wanted to know.
For me, like my biggest frustration is here. We each get 3 characters. That's how we played.
Yeah.
So I created 1 and then I adopted 2 that we found so far.
It's very nice.
I am still trying to figure out, my option is to select all my party, which is fine. I can move them and they'll move around. But how do I actually use my players' spells while still continuing to have these idiots follow me? And that's what I haven't been able to figure out. Like if I select just my guy to move him, then all my spells are there. I have control, but the other 2 don't follow me. And I haven't figured out how can I select them all, have them follow the leader, and still let me play with my spells or my attacks or whatever it is that I have. I haven't figured that part out yet, but
yeah, we were playing with those scripts, kind of like how you are trying to get your AI to play, and it's fun. All we need to do is look a few things up, and it'll probably be a pretty good experience. So I'm excited to keep it going for sure. So yeah, Baldur's Gate was awesome. Steam Summer Sale, got some sweet Steam Summer Sale news later, but yeah, $4 for a $30 game, and it's a game that, it's a no mercy game, so there's a lot of replay value with that kind of style.
Totally.
But frick, man, it was hot this week.
Oh my god!
Like we touched on that before, but we knew it was going to be hot. We got the weather warnings. Yeah, our system was all set up for it. I mean, my AC broke, but I think I talked about that last week, so we're getting it fixed. The people can come next week, I think it is.
Did you do fine? Because we were hitting temperatures of like 47 degrees and feels like 53, which was bananas. That's
yeah, it's a lot.
Celsius. It's like 100 I think it's like 120 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere around there.
I mean, hey, at least we don't live in Lytton, BC.
But yeah, they got some areas in BC got wrecked by fire.
Crazy.
It's really sad.
Yeah. And so no, but we were fine. Like my family with their like old school Ukrainian ways where they wouldn't have had that air conditioners or anything like that anyway. They just, you put ice in front of a fan, you blow it and it feels great. And so we were fine. We were totally fine. A little hot, but first world problems. But I couldn't believe it. I mean, we get rain warnings all the time. We'll get heat wave warnings every summer. Never this bad, of course, but we get warnings all the time for the different types of weather that's coming. It snows like 0.5 millimeter and we get a snow warning. But I couldn't believe this got international attention. It was that hot.
We set temperature records.
We're hotter than the desert.
Yeah,
like
hotter than Vegas.
We're not talking like a Soyuz desert or Nevada desert. I'm talking like
it was disgusting.
Oh,
it was
crazy.
Absolutely disgusting.
Anyway, I'm making a t-shirt. I lived.
Well, you know what? There were like 400 deaths from the heat wave in BC. Yeah. Like that is crazy to me.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, it was crazy hot.
I remember that happening in Chicago 2 decades ago when I lived out east in Toronto. I remember getting some news about some 110.
From heat?
Yeah, it was around 110 or something back. When I was discovering that there was other temperatures besides Celsius. Anyway, it was like 110 and people were dying.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway, hot, lived, awesome. But COVID now, for us where we live, our province came out with a 4-stage program to get things back to normal once the vaccine started rolling out and good systems were in place and society started, following a bit of rules. And so now we're
Vaccinating
in, so now we're in stage 3, which is almost back to normal.
Very close.
Almost. I ran into Chris while I was walking my dog just yesterday, the day before, and only at the end of the conversation did I realize I could give him a hug.
Yep.
We still were 10 feet away. We weren't paying attention. Like, we were talking, having a good time. My half-hour walk turned into an hour walk because of it, but great. And then we hugged at the end. It was weird. We had, because now our restrictions are you can hang out outside up to 50 people. You can have normal indoor gatherings, but masks are required depending on where you're at in regards to your vaccination process, whether you've had no shots, 1 shots, or 2 shots. Right?
Indoors up to 50 people.
Right. Yes. Indoors. So we had my wife's whole side of the family come over. My in-laws came down from the Okanagan.
Cool.
Made the drive, and then my wife's brothers and their families came over, and it was weird. The kids were having a great time. I mean, all our Legos broken now, but it was COVID, so you can give the kids a little bit of a break. But man, dude, so do you like cherries?
They're all right.
Oh, I love cherries, and it's a big problem because we don't really get a lot of cherries here, but you get them like in the sun and in a lot of the so in the Okanagan. So anyway, my in-laws bring down cherries, nice, gorgeous cherries. You always remember at the wrong time that you can only have a certain amount of cherries before it starts. Before you got to.
What does it do? I would eat like 1 before I would stop.
Oh,
does it mess your stomach up?
It gives you the poops. Yeah.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So anyway. You remember once, and then you remember for a while.
You'll forget.
I hope not. But anyway, so stage 3 just started. My kids are at a sleepover at my mom's house.
Man, they must be excited.
They are so excited. My sister, who's there right now as well, wanted to hang out with them. Said that Oliver said, sometimes, this is my son, sometimes you don't want to stay with your parents. And then my daughter's like, yeah, sometimes it's more fun to stay with your aunt.
Totally true.
Yeah. So anyway, it was fun. I just dropped them off at noon, and then now we started recording half an hour later. And house is
kid free,
man. It's weird.
Oh, that's amazing.
And they might even stay for 2 nights. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, just walk around naked or something? Is that what you do?
It's required. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
that's it.
I'll get on
after the show, preferably.
Yeah. But it's funny because school just ended, a week ago? Like right when the heat wave was there.
Sort of. They canceled our school.
Yeah, the last 2 days of school because our schools don't have the proper air conditioning for that type of heat.
Wah.
So, yeah. Back in the day when I went to school.
That's right.
But anyway, it's fun. I haven't even listened to last week's episodes yet. Normally, I like to listen to our show, not in a vain way, but like I want to know how we sound. I want to know like how annoying I was, what I need to work on. My dad, when he was alive, was very much into public speaking, and he taught it, and he was very specific, and he was constantly correcting our family. And I can't imagine how many times he'd be rolling over in his grave, hearing all the different things, all the fill-in ums and ands I put in, or saying I take them all out instead of I have. Yeah, but
because otherwise, oh boy,
boy. But anyway, it's hard. It's so hard to listen now that the kids are home from school. I don't know when I have time to listen to the podcast or to my Bible or anything like that. It's just always noisy. So it's been fun. I get extra excited to take the dog for a walk now because, not in the heat, but then I actually get to listen to stuff. Anyway, it was a good week.
I just started our backup recording now.
Oh, what is it with you and our backup?
Doesn't look right.
Did you at least clear it?
Oh yeah, I cleared it.
Oh,
I just didn't start it.
People, you cannot when you hear Justin go, oh yeah, it's always the complete opposite of sure, yeah,
I 100%. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to because what happens, I forget to stop the recording and it fills up every single week.
Seriously, you should hear when we're finished recording. Some days you'll hear Justin be like, "Okay, Ty, hang on, my computer's going to go through some. I'm not going to hear you for a bit," because we hang out after we're finished recording, and then a little bit later into that process, you're like, "Oh no,
I
hope I have the backup running."
I think we've only had to use a backup once. So if I ever need it in this episode, we just won't hear about your week and be
and 99% of the people are going to be totally fine with that. So tell me about your week now that backup's going. You obviously have a good story to tell.
Nope. My week was fine. It was work. We tried to do as much as we could staying in the house. Kids got to go out in the backyard and played in the pool and stuff in the first 2 hours of the day. Like by 10 o'clock, we kept them back inside because it was insanely hot, and we had AC running. I set it to the maximum, like run as hard as you can, push as much as you can for the whole day, just so that I could make sure I could work from home and in my office. And weirdly enough, it would work great until like 4 or 5, it started to get warm. And we actually went and saw some friends yesterday for Canada Day. Also, happy Independence Day for the Americans out there, because this is be coming out on July 4th. Yeah. So, good for you guys. And
Happy
then
birthday. Happy birthday.
Yep. Is it a birthday? I don't even know. I don't know. Whatever.
I barely know Canada's history.
Yeah. Happy 4th.
Happy everybody.
Happy 4th. So yeah, we kept them in though, just trying to make it work from inside the house. But yeah, 4 or 5 o'clock. I was talking to some friends. That's what I was saying. I went to Canada. Well, on Canada Day, we went out with some friends just to their place. And I was saying that it got to 25 degrees in my office. And obviously 25 degrees normally would be fine. But when I've been pushing the house down to like 20, 21 degrees, 25 was unbearable. Like I was getting angry that I was sitting in 25. It was getting me bothered because I'm like, oh my God, like where's my cold air? It was crazy. But I am so happy that heat wave's gone.
Yeah.
I know we're supposed to get a little bit more, but definitely not up to those insane temperatures.
We'll have our normal mid-30s August.
I had to go out on a couple meetings on those 2 days, and the only good thing is my car cools off really fast, and it's got the cooled seats. So as long as I turn that on, as about 5-6 minutes into my drive, it would cool down. But God, anytime you stepped outside the door, if my kids were taking the dog out, I would be like, you got half a second to get your butt out of my house and close that door. Do not leave that door open. So that was good though. It was I had an awesome time playing Baldur's Gate. We normally hang out Mondays. I couldn't. And so that Monday, remember when I said to you, like, I'm not sure, I'm just not feeling great.
Yeah.
I went to sleep at 9:45 on that Monday. That's like unheard of for me. I could not keep my eyes open. I was just done. So we played on Tuesday, and I was legit excited to play it. Like for a good part of the day while I was working, I was like looking into trying to figure out how do you set it up? How do we play it? And I had a good time. I'm really excited to play it.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. And it's good timing because we're still a month away from the next league. 3 weeks.
Yeah. I didn't check the time. We're going to talk about that with the teaser stuff. But yeah, we had a good July 1st. We just hung out at some friend's house. I also realized though, one thing with COVID is we obviously haven't done a big hangout thing. Like we've not done anything with our friends. We've seen this one family that we hung out with through different stages that we were allowed to because they were inside of our bubble. But being outside for like 6 hours while the kids were playing in the backyard and we're on the deck and just I'm not there yet. Like we went for lunch and we got about half an hour before dinner, and I said to Christina, I'm like, we're not staying. Like it's time to go. I can't. I'm just not feeling great. I've been outside all day. I was having a really hard time doing nothing. Like it was really getting to me that I wasn't doing something work-wise. Like COVID has just shifted everything where I'm working all the time from my office. At least I still get to hang out with my kids, but I'm working. Yeah. And so to sit there for like 6.5 hours just in a chair, chatting and hanging out, it was, yeah, okay, thank you.
Well, no, like when I sent out a message normally before COVID, before all this happened, people would come over to my place once a month, right? First Saturday of the month, people would come over and hang out. Starts at 8 o'clock, 8:30, right? When my kids are going to bed. Then you can show up, and I'm getting grumpy by about midnight. You got 4 hours to enjoy yourself, and then you're out.
Yep. Yeah, and it was outside. It makes it even harder. It was hot.
Like even when
it wasn't for me.
My wife wants to, like when we go visit, her parents or something like that, love spending time with them. They're fantastic people, but when it's all day, I'm fine spending some time by myself or sleeping in or whichever.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was me. And as we're driving out there, I'm looking at the highway completely packed coming the other way. And I'm just thinking, if I'm in that, I'm going to be unhappy. Now, granted, it wasn't. By the time we came home, it was fine, but there were accidents and crazy stuff. But anyway, it was a great week. It was way too hot. I'm really excited. It's funny when you're like, ooh, 26 degrees out. That's kind of cool. It's a little chilly.
Right? Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I went out with my son at a play date yesterday with one of his kindergarten friends, and I went over to her house and I had a long sleeve shirt on. It was 25 degrees outside. I'm like, sweet. But I'd never wear 25 degrees long sleeve shirt. But anyway.
So do you have a PoE week?
I did, but it wasn't as much as I wanted to. Or at least
All right.
I don't think I played. Like, I feel like I really missed out on
I saw
PoE
you streaming
time.
for 90 minutes or something. You said
yeah. I'm like, I have 90 minutes. It's dedicated to PoE. And I think I had another one of those sessions earlier in the week. I don't know. Like, I don't remember what made me busy this week, but I didn't play anywhere near as much PoE as I wanted to.
Be really hot to just go down onto the computer though too. Oh, I guess your basement's a little bit cooler.
My basement's nice and cool. I'm considering putting on a hoodie, even though upstairs is nice and hot. What I'm doing right now, I'm working on putting I think I mentioned this last week, but I'm putting my guides on PC characters now, not on console, because I discovered this, like, so the realms of Path of Exile are on different realms, right? PC is its own entity. Console, right? Sony is its own thing. Microsoft is its own thing. And when you log in to the Path of Exile website, this is just for those that don't know, when you log into the Path of Exile website, you're picking which account you're logging into. So even though the realms, the instances are separate, trade separate, also your account, it's just a completely separate account. MTX aren't shared, nothing's shared. So everything I do for the community, all of our posts for the podcast, all my guides, all my filters, it's all done on my PC account. It was there, it was first, it's what I ended up starting with, and so I just kept with it. But because I primarily play on console, all the links that I say in my guides that are like, and here's my character, here's my gear, if you want to compare it or check it out, here you go. That's linking to my console characters. So when people click on that, now they're not paying attention to which account is showing up in the top for me. So they're clicking on that, and then it's like, oh, okay, that's my, okay, neat, that's his gear, whatever, answered whatever questions I wanted. Then they'll go from that point and click to PM me and ask whatever questions or advice, compliments, whatever it is. And I never log in. I never need to. There's no reason for me to. So I never actually log into the PoE website with my console account. It's always just my PC account. The other day I needed to do something. I forget what it was. I logged in with my console account. Bunch of messages asking for help.
Really?
Thanks for this. And I mean, some of them are months old. So I'm like, shoot. So I'm going to just re-level.
You didn't reply to them, did you? Like months later?
The relevant ones, yes. Like if they were thanks, that's something you want to do. For help, I just apologized and said, hey, sorry, I never log into this account. I'm fixing it. And then I had like a copy and paste thing like, hey, I'm fixing it. You'll be able to message me any way you want later on. But so anyway, long story is I'm putting all of my everything, including my example characters, on PC. So I was leveling RF Chieftain this week, doing it nice and slow, doing it so that it was like a first playthrough, like a league start. Want to double check since it's been a while, over a year since I've leveled the Chief with RF. Want to see where it is that you can naturally sustain Righteous Fire as a first playthrough. Going through, having a good time with it. So that's what I was doing.
I love you saying Chieftain now and Chief.
Did I say it right?
You said it perfectly, but I was watching the F1 race on Sunday, and your pronunciation of Ricardo's or Ricciardo's, however he actually says it, his last name made me laugh while I was watching it, and then you survived.
He says it Italian, Ricciardo.
But he says Ricardo is how most people say it.
He says it Ricardo.
But he says it with he makes the noise.
Yeah, he's fancy. But then,
but Tyler pronounces every consonant.
Well, yes, because that's what it's there for. So I always thought, but it's not like when you see someone famous, you know how it's said. You just guess. Yep. So it's Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, I think it's actually spelled like Ricciardio.
Yeah,
like almost
Ricciardio.
Yeah. And I remember the first time you said it, I was like, man, I have been saying it wrong. I never said anything that episode, but I was like, wow, how am I that off?
And then Google has those like celebrity 1 second, one question interviews, and you realize that you're.
I had to send that to you.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. Thanks for making me feel poorly. Hey, I discovered though 2 things while I'm playing. I'm doing all these different tests, right? I did a Cortex map for the first time ever. I've never done a Cortex map, just how it went, and the music in that really stood out to me. Can you picture awesome. The Cortex map? Mm-hmm. The music is so good. I didn't want the experience to stop. And then the boss, the music got way better. Now, I had no idea what was happening in that boss fight.
There's multiple bosses too.
They're like different ones that can show up?
That's right.
Because I saw the process. Like I beat the map. So there was like 4 or 5 stages to the boss. Is that what you're talking about? Or
Yeah,
you're
I don't
saying
know how they do it anymore, because it used to be like there could be just the one big guy,
okay.
and I think now it's always the combo one of it swapping between.
It did.
different
It
types of
swapped
guys?
4 or 5 times. Yeah.
Crazy fight though if you don't know it. If you didn't play it before, yeah, it'd be a tough fight.
So I was quite proud because PoE is definitely one of those games where you need to learn your important boss battles. And so I was quite proud that I beat it the first time that I experienced it. But there's some pretty dumb stuff. Like I hate it when bosses make huge dots that stay on the ground for a long time, but then they stand in it. I hate that. I just hate that. Like it just, I don't know. Like, yeah, anyway. And then I was also playing around with Righteous Fire, the possibility of using Petrified Blood with it. Remember what Petrified Blood does? Is it basically cuts your life in half. It doesn't reserve
the new
life,
one, yep.
but you can't. Yeah, so the damage you get.
It's turned into more like a dot style than you taking.
Yeah. But the only way you can get over half your life, if you're not reserving it by another means, is only by a flask, right?
Right.
I'm playing around with it, and they really mean flask only with Petrified Blood. It never even crossed my mind, but it really stood out to me when it happened. I leveled up, and my life still stayed at half. I thought that maybe that, I don't know why I thought that, but that even that would overwrite the gem, but no. It was like right at half. It's like, it is flask only.
It's very
like
much only flask, yep.
That's your date right there when he's talking about milk.
When they stamp it onto the cow. Or
Yeah.
they stamp it onto the milk. That's right. It's not wrong.
No, never.
It's not wrong.
So Petrified Blood is totally flask only. Anyway, it was a good week. Did you play PoE or no? Is your PoE week my PoE week?
Oh, my PoE week was nothing. Like I'm excited we're going to get into this week in PoE, but my PoE week was just kind of waiting for the teaser that we got yesterday and chatting on Discord. Like I knew I wasn't going to play much into pathofexile now leading up to 3.15, so
much
I didn't have time.
Come on.
So
at
all.
There we go.
I will say I logged in, but that was only because I had to sort stuff out with support for trying to get some gift cards.
Oh.
And this goes along with our last episode. Seriously, GGG, put out a way to buy some freaking gift codes. Your support is fantastic, though. The guy and girls that I was working with were awesome for sorting it out for one of our winners, because their card was not working.
Your people are amazing. Your processes suck.
Yep, 100%. All right, let's get into this week in PoE, though, because there are some exciting patches to talk about.
Yep, no patches. No dev manifesto, but I love dev manifestos. It sets the community like just that's exactly what they sound like, by the way. You can quote that. But It's just them being like, who else do you play that where you get like a wicked dev manifesto, not just a nicely explained patch notes, but here's why. Oh my goodness, I love it. So anyway, hopefully something crazy's changing that'll make the community livid, but I'll absolutely love. No MTX again.
Nope.
I don't know. Maybe there's a system for that, but there wasn't any this week. Havoc Blitz event got announced. Part 2, stage 2, something like that. So
is there a second part to it? That's cool.
I don't know. I said part 2. There, look, Havoc Blitz 2.
Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't read that one, but that's
Sweet.
Cool.
Hideout showcase. Okay, so you just download your hideouts, right?
100%. I looked at this hideout showcase and I was like, could you please put those up for download? Thank you very much.
So I've spent some time in this game, playing Sims per se, like going through my hideouts, being picky, trying to figure stuff out, going through some of my PoE suggestions have been hideout related that I put on the website. And they still look pretty meh, but I'm still happy with them and I think they look neat. I did it. And then I see these hideout showcases and I'm like, no, they're cheating. Cheat codes. There's no way you can perfectly put that piece where it exists.
Okay, the placing it perfectly, once I learned how you can use the arrow keys, it makes sense to me. What I don't understand though is how does somebody take a pillar and know that there's 18 versions of that pillar and I want version 13? That's the part that always floors me, because I've placed a block before thinking, oh, that looks cool, and then scrolled and been like, oh,
I like that block better.
Wait a minute. Yeah. That's what floors me when it comes to the design stuff, is the ability to know all the different versions that an item can be and then also make it look cool. So I love that they let you import hideout showcases, or whatever you want to call hideouts, and I appreciate the people who do it.
Yes.
Very much.
So thank you. We also appreciate people that do fan art, though I am very tired about talking about fan art.
I feel like we've done this for like 6 episodes now about, and now it's just favorite fan art. So
Well,
like, what does
at least
that
this
mean?
is past stuff. So this is some older stuff. And I wanted to complain about the fan art, but then I go through it every single time I go through it and I'm like,
They're awesome.
oh, wow, that's really cool. Like in this one, there was one where Zana's a kid and her dad and her are having a great time learning and playing with maps and charts and stuff.
Oh yeah, I see that
Like
one.
how cool of a story is that? That's really neat.
I really like the one that was for Delve.
Yeah,
where
the
it's like
Delve
there's a drawing inside of the drawing. It was
Yep.
really cool.
Yeah, it's almost like the painted world of Amorous or whatever it was in Dark Souls.
And the Last Supper, I like that one too.
Yeah, that one's awesome. And if I knew Zana or if I knew Alva was that hot, I wouldn't be complaining about her at all.
Yeah, but she just teases you a little bit until she
she's
tells you
just-
to go, hey,
yeah,
go,
she's just
go in this
flirty.
portal.
Yeah, that's right. She's just anger problems. I even like the ones where it's like you see Cassia, right?
Yep. It's a cool blight behind her.
Right. Yeah. So you get
That's
the
awesome.
perspective of what, the wraeclast, the GGG world is from like a first person perspective or a third, like right down on the ground, how epic and huge it is. And the next time I play, like when I see these things, I remember the next time I play, not the second time I play, but the next time I play. And it's like, oh yeah, this is way more epic than it feels. This is awesome. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. I wanted to complain about the fan art, but I couldn't. It was too good.
Yeah, they're awesome. Okay, so Ultimatum. Let's chat about Ultimatum because we have some stuff that I'm excited to talk about that happened this week. This is the first one. We found out Ultimatum's not going core.
Right.
And I'm fine with it. I actually thought that makes sense. I like the fact, I really like, we've talked about this in the past. I like when grinding gear games can go, this just isn't working and maybe we need to figure something else out. We don't want to leave it in just because we spent a lot of time on it. And you know that they did. Like, they're taking out an entire boss fight. The Trial Master was hilarious. Like I think it can't be an easy decision for a company to go, oh, you know what, we're not going to put that in and we're not going to keep it and maybe we'll figure out something else later. I am a little confused where they go, we're fine with Ritual, we're not fine with Ultimatum. I understand they're different, but to me they're very similar in the sense of here's what you're doing, here's your rewards, you choose if you want to keep going. And I'm a little disappointed that they're taking out a boss that I've never fought instead of making it easier for me to be able to fight that boss. That I don't like them doing that kind of stuff, but I do appreciate them saying it's not working with how our vision's looking right now. We'll find a way to rework it maybe in the future to bring it back in.
Yeah. And the nice thing is there wasn't really, like, even with Ritual, there were ritual specific drops, right? And with this one, in a way, there kind of was as well, but there really wasn't, like, for example, Blight. That's the tower defense one, right? Blight was really tied to oils. And GGG, I don't quite understand the requirement of this, but if you like oils, for me, I don't like the tower defense stuff, right? But oils are great. Why can't you find a different way to implement oils into the game and blighted maps or something, like a way for oils to stay in the game, but the tower defense doesn't have to? Now, maybe they wanted it, sure, but just because the mechanic was tied to the league originally to a certain item doesn't mean it has to stay that way. So the thing that I quite like about this league is that it was just a different way to get the same content that's always existed. There wasn't much that was new outside of the method with which you get it. You know what I mean? There wasn't like a new item that we would be really hurt to not get. And same with Ritual. If Ritual was cut, if you don't get Ritual splinters, life goes on. Like, it was a lot of the same content. And so the thing that I like about this is they liked where it went. And I even love that they added a pausable option to the game per se with how ultimatums worked. But they like Ultimatum. It's just mathematically it doesn't make sense. And I liked that they were honest with that. It was just like, we want the items to show up in different ways and reward values and incentives, and maybe the bossing won't be so RNG if it does come back.
I hope it's not. I hope that's one thing that they change. Again, I'm totally on board with it. I wouldn't have been. I could have seen it going both ways, and this is the start of me picking on the idiots in the Path of Exile community, because right away people are going, oh, you keep an ultimatum, but you didn't take out this one, or you didn't take out this one, or you're fine keeping in heist, and you don't want that. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's not that it's bad to have a differing opinion, but again, we've said this like a billion times. They're not trying to mess over their own game. They clearly know more than we do. Let them make the decision and let's play the game. And I do appreciate when they actually look at something and go, we need to fix it. It doesn't fit in the current way that it's in, because we've talked about it. There's a lot of bloat in Path of Exile. It would be nice to have a little bit less that. You know what I mean? Like if you're talking about whether you're a new player or you are a longtime player, coming in and having to understand all of these systems is just really tough. So I'm not opposed to when they just go, this one didn't work. Maybe we'll figure out some way to put it in later. I just missed the only thing I'm upset about is I didn't get to play the Trial Master, and I hope there's some way for me to fight him in the future. Only to see it, just to experience it. It's not like it's something Yep.
Did you hear good or bad things about the Trial Master fight?
I didn't hear anything positive. For me, it's just the experience of doing it.
Yeah, of course.
It was neither here nor there. It wasn't like Maven, where most people didn't like parts of that fight.
Yep.
And it was relatively unanimous that from everything I read that people were the same. Trial Master, I didn't hear anything that was necessarily, great or negative. It was just, for me, would like to know that I feel like I fought every boss in the game so far. And this is one that I just won't have a chance to fight until they figure out maybe.
And it wasn't even that you didn't have time.
I did so many maps. I just didn't get it.
And it wasn't even that you didn't have a character that was worthy of the fight.
I never got it.
You didn't roll the dice properly, Justin, so screw you.
Yeah, so I think it's cool when they make a decision, and that can't be an easy decision.
Right.
When you're talking about the league mechanic that you just released, that you just spent 3 months developing or more.
Right.
That's not an easy choice, so let them make the decision. I'm excited to see what they do next.
I hope, I don't know, probably not, because they seem to really keep their entities separate as they go forward. But I would love to see Ritual and Ultimatum just combined into one. The cool pause feature, the high risk, high reward of moving on. I mean, they'll figure out the if, ands, or buts for how, it would all work together. But I'd like to see them together.
Yeah, we talked about this last episode, and the more I think about it, the more I really want them to try and incorporate it more into some stuff, is that pause feature or that stop feature. Like we talked about it, that a blighted map where there was a delay between waves, or even a stop that I can control my towers now. It would be so much more fun. To me, that's an actual tower defense. What tower defense do you play where it's like, hey, if you can make it to the tower and click, knock yourself out, but otherwise, it's not a tower defense. It's what did you set up in the first few minutes, and now just try and kill everything.
Oh, and FYI, there's no glossary for you. You're just gonna have to figure it out as you're dying. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god, the worst. I remember the first time in Blight when you get that final upgrade of a tower, and there's 2 options.
Yeah.
And by the time you got to 2 options, your screen's full of enemies.
Yeah, I know, right?
So it's like I'm going to go right because I just go right. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like you have time to see, like, okay, does this freeze the enemy or slow the enemy? Which one does that? Like you don't
that one
even
looks
know.
Cool.
Right? Yeah.
Visually,
you're just like, oh my! And your hair's on fire. You're clicking something you probably even missed.
Yep.
Sweet news though. This is the second coolest thing that GGG did this week, but they teased their 315 announcement.
Yeah, this is a big conversation for us too.
7-second video.
17 seconds.
17 seconds. Okay. So 315, they said, pending any, COVID 2 or anything like that, it's going to come out July 15th, our time anyway. Ziggy D and Chris are going to be on their Twitch channel again, which is pretty sweet. And the league is actually going to launch a week after that. So July 23rd. If you're PC, July 28th if you're console.
Yeah, so let's break this down. Teaser first off, I have got to say, Camille is 17 seconds of music right off the bat. I just love it. I love it. And even Kane, the other audio guy, like the sound effects and the music in that teaser were so good.
Yeah.
For 17 seconds, I loved it.
We should have them on again, but there's only like one thing to say. It's like, we like your stuff.
How do you do it?
Yeah. So do you like your stuff? Because we love your stuff. It's awesome.
It was awesome. It was so good. Now, I just want to preface the rest of this conversation with the fact that this was a teaser that Grinding Gear Games said they were going to put out as a teaser to tease 315.
Right. The trailer is coming out a week before league launch, like it has the last 3 leagues.
and July 15th will have their whole announcement thing. A teaser is meant to be very short and just tease some parts of something.
Mm-hmm. Hang on, are we speaking to our children?
I feel like it.
Right?
Listen, you know what? Most of the people probably listening are not these types of people, but I am so sick of the Path of Exile community. I'm so sick of them. They're just the biggest group of assholes. I can't even try to find a nice way to say it.
Every community's got morons, man.
Yeah, but it's gotten worse. I don't know if just like 5-year-olds have come out of the mix and started playing Path of Exile, or if we've just degraded from playing Path of Exile, that mentally people can't act their age. But it's a teaser for one. It wasn't meant to be a trailer. It's for fun. It looks awesome. They showed some new skills, and that I love that they just end with seeing 3 new NPCs. No information, no name of the league, just 3 NPCs, and you're like, oh, cool. That it's supposed to tease you into the trailer and the announcement for 315.
Comments, they're like, looks just like this. I'm out. It's like, okay, have a good time.
Oh my God. It makes me so angry. And then, so then you add, okay, so first off, I'm going to, let me just get all my negative stuff out first. So that's the first one. It's a teaser. You idiots. It's a teaser. It's meant to just tease the frickin' league.
Yep.
It's supposed to be short. Have fun and enjoy it. Second off, they extended, I think, was the delay? Was it 2 weeks? There was a short delay. So when they were originally planning for league launch to where it is now, I don't remember exactly the timeline.
Okay, sure.
That's totally fine. That's 100% fine. Who is the idiot? And I can think of so many worse words for those people, but that wants it to come out before it's finished so that they can go and post about it not being ready. I don't get it. They postpone it a week or two and you're upset about it because they're postponing it. Octavian had a great tweet where he said, for years now, and I'm going to put words in his mouth because he said it nicer than I did. For years now, people have bitched and moaned about, oh, turn it into a 4-month, change the cycle so it's every 4 months so they have more time, blah, blah, blah. And then Grinding Your Games goes, we're going to delay by 1 or 2 weeks to make sure that everything's good for the launch. And you're complaining? What the F is wrong with these people?
Hopefully it's different people.
No, I hope it's the exact same people. I hope that it's just a very limited amount of scum and idiots who just go, I'm going to post no matter what, that I'm negative about it. I just don't understand. It boggles my mind that people didn't understand what a teaser was supposed to be. And I feel like maybe they took it from 314's teaser, because the only difference, though, 314 gave a name of the league, which they don't normally do. That was the first time they'd ever done it. You kind of got like a Val theme to it overall, but we don't even know what 315 is. So maybe there is a theme to that teaser. We saw areas in that teaser that are not in the game. That whole thing with the skulls coming up, it's not in the game. So I just think people need to stop being so idiotic and just play the game and have fun with the game. And if that's not you, go to a different game.
Please.
Yeah, seriously. It irritates me. I want to see posts after when they post a teaser or when they launch a date where people are like, awesome, can't wait, excited.
Yep.
Take your time if you need to, whatever.
They're just as pointless of comments, but they're encouraging.
Right.
And that matters.
Yeah. It made me so irritated when I was reading the idiots that were like, this doesn't tell me anything. Yes, you monkey, it's a teaser. It's a teaser. It's not supposed to. Just enjoy it. And if it doesn't mean anything to you, fine. Move on and wait till the announcement. Anyway, I like the teaser. I like seeing new skills.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what they are.
AoE cool, Central, area of effect.
Yeah, lots of them.
Area of effect. Watch, this is going to be a strike league. They're introducing way more AoEs. They're going to touch on AoE balances. And then next league, it's going to be like, all right, our strike skills need to be like 3 times stronger than these AoEs because everybody's AoEing. It looked really cool, though. It looked like a lot of purple.
Awesome.
Chaos. And then there was that big cross one. Who knows what kind of element it's
going
to be.
Yeah, the blue one that went in like multiple directions. I love that they do the teasers because to me, it's just fun. It's something that gives me something to look at leading up to the announcement, because there's nothing. We know that. There's no patches. There's no manifesto. Nothing really happened this week. So that teaser is awesome. And I cannot tell you how much I love them just doing this slow zoom to 3 NPCs at the end. And that's it. I love that. I love it.
One thing that they nail their NPCs. They nail. Now, granted, not when Heist was first released and they were following you, but outside of them actually being involved in physical gameplay,
but
whatever.
them as an NPC was very cool.
They're so well written. They have such cool backstories. Every single one is very interesting, and they all have a humor about them, whether it's to the specific character or, I mean, look at the complexity of Heist. Then you even look at someone just like Cassia, where she's just a prick and you love everything about her. Like they nail. And I mean, who is ever going to forget that played this last league? Who's going to forget the Trial Master? Nobody.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
Oh my goodness. His like, you're just the worst at sarcasm. Like, he's just so, absolutely love it. So I'm really excited. Every time when I see these new NPCs, especially like you have the big guy, right? There was that one he looks like just the big fat merchant. Cool. I always picture Faustus. Toodles. Oh, I know who owns that. Yeah, so I'm
really excited for it. I'm excited for the announcement on the 15th because that's only like 2 weeks away. And then league launch, I literally don't care. I don't care. I don't understand who the person is that gets, like, when it comes. I don't care if it's been extended for a week or two. I would much rather them be fully ready for the launch than them doing it because they have to commit to a date that I honestly, someone will probably call me out on this. I don't remember them giving a firm date and saying this was when the league launch was going to be. But regardless, if they're going, hey, we want to make sure we're ready to go.
Yeah.
It's going to be a week or two later. For me, that doesn't make a difference. And it's weird to me, to the person that does, besides the person that just plays like all the time.
Well, no, I think it's the opposite. You're the type of person, like, your play style would care about delays. Because you're
then I just can't get
longer.
back into
right,
it.
Yeah, like you burn out, you're waiting, so now you have longer to wait.
That just makes me more excited.
Well, sure.
I just get more excited.
Yeah, there's the maturity level there. But then there's someone like myself who I'm always playing, and I'm playing core. Like, it's not like I'm always playing and I don't want to play the game. If I didn't want to play the game, I'd go play something else. So
okay, so you say that. That's what boggles my mind. Okay, someone like myself or someone who plays it all the time, they delay for a week or two, so find something to fill your time.
I still haven't touched the
There's
Witcher.
A Steam summer sale.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate. I still haven't touched Hitman that I purchased, Hitman 2, even though Hitman 3 is out. I still haven't touched The Witcher 3, but that's because the controls kind of make... Like, there's so many games that are on my list I want to play, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to play PoE tonight.
I still haven't canceled my Humble Bundle. I get 10 new games.
You haven't.
I get 10 new games every month.
I can't wait to see when you go through, when you actually go and cancel your Humble Bundle. I'm curious to see how many other subscriptions you cancel at the same time.
I have PlayStation. I have the Sony.
Oh yeah, because somebody almost played Demon Souls with you.
No, I didn't get it for that. I got it for what's that? With Us, or I don't know. There was like some game that everybody loved. Can't remember what it's called. I played on the
Last
PlayStation
of Us?
4. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I never got far into it.
I like Ziggy. I'm glad that he's back. I saw somebody complaining like, hey, why don't you get another prominent streamer in there, the one that plays PoE a little bit more? Because Ziggy's like a multi-streamer, right? He plays PoE, but a lot of other things. From what I know, I actually haven't ever seen him, but I like what he does. It seems somebody brought up a good point. They're like, it seems like, Ziggy and Chris are just kind of buddies talking about what they're allowed to talk about, and they want to talk about a lot of things that they're not allowed to talk about, but they're not allowed to talk about it, so you get the bare bones. But it's cool. I like it. Like, Ziggy's not afraid to ask questions. I remember mentioning a while back, like, it'd be cool to see a variety, but I don't really care. I just want to know what I can know, and as much of what I can know as I can know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that made sense.
I don't tend to watch that after part anyway, so to me it doesn't make a difference. But I do understand that they have a working relationship that works. Like, he knows what he can ask, because I think he knows more than he can ask.
Right.
I think he's right, and so that kind of makes sense. And
same location, time zone.
Well, for sure, that makes a big difference. But they also probably have some sort of understanding of where the questioning is going to go, so that you're not in this weird live position of somebody asking you a question that completely throws you off. Although I think, does in these ones he have like marks sitting off to the side where he's like, what's the answer?
Yeah, I forget. Yeah, it's always Chris, though. I'm curious where Jonathan went. Like, I love Chris. Come on as much as you want in terms of a fan. I think he's awesome, but I kind of miss Jonathan too. And Eric, poor guy, he's never been involved in any of these things. he's probably
loving the fact that he doesn't have to.
No kidding, right? No kidding. But yeah, so excited for that. And also, Ziggy's got 1 billion followers. You kind of got to play the marketing game a bit. So for those that were looking for change, I think it's awesome. And what was it? Did you have anything else to say on the teaser?
I loved it. I'm excited for it. I'm fine with the way they did it. It was exactly what it should have been. I think it was great. I really enjoyed watching it. All 17 seconds.
I hope. Yeah. Oh, no. I hope there's going to be some minion surprises. You saw a lot of skulls. It looks all corpsey in there. Even though all the skills they were showing were like AoE, looked chaos, maybe lightning, but but can you do skulls and death without minions? Probably not. Probably not.
I think minions are in a fine spot.
I hate you. So, best thing that GGG did this week, though that is technically their big announcement for the week, their teaser, they had a tweet for the Steam summer sale, and it made me pee my pants.
So good.
It was so funny. I want to read it to people just because. So anyway, Steam, right, PC thing, has a summer sale every time. Path of Exile tweets, and they at Steam in this, which is awesome. We're happy to announce that Path of Exile is completely free in the Steam summer sale. Tell your friends. Oh my goodness.
So good.
Yeah. It got 2,000 likes. So funny.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's clever. It's fun.
It is.
And don't forget it's free.
Yeah, that's right. Just this week.
Yeah. Special Steam summer sale. I wish they could have a cross out on it and it still say free.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Right. Used to be free. No, not anymore.
I don't know how often they can like update it, but having their front picture with like a now free or something would have been fun too.
Yeah. Previously free, now free. Now, one thing I really wish GGG did more of were these community things, fan favorite things, marketing. Like we talked a lot about this last time, maybe from a perspective of gift cards or merchandising, right? Because we announced and talked about their store and merch last week. But I saw a Reddit post where somebody just wanted a nice wallpaper for their desktop, and they went out of their way to they actually contacted support from GGG to get a nice wallpaper, and awesome support by GGG and the people that are there. They gave him one, and he was the individual, I don't know if it was a he, my mistake, but the individual was so excited they posted about it on Reddit. Hey, I got this. It was awesome. And in my mind, I'm like, why don't you want everyone to have that? Why don't you have
why isn't there a spot on their page? Yeah.
Right, wallpaper for this league or previous leagues or whatever it is. Like, sure, some of the fan art that they do, people could use for sure, but there's to have stuff just literally on your website for people to use. So when they're broadcasting, it's just on your background. You know what I mean? Like, I want there to be more of that. I wish there was. Easy to access, right from the website. Like, for example, so you know how I always have a big beef with GGG's default filter, right? And just how inaccessible that stuff is. So all of a sudden, one day, I think it was last league, they put out a syntax on their own website. So instead of needing to go to the wiki, now it's okay, these are all the commands you have for your filter. And it's on the Path of Exile website. But you know what's crazy? You can't get to it. If you have the link, you can get to it. But if you're on the Path of Exile website, there's no way to literally get to that page.
Oh, weird.
When you click on item filters, there's no way to get to it. There's no about, there's no help, there's no nothing. It's just a list of item filters, or you can create your own. You have to have the link.
Weird.
Now, maybe there is a way that I haven't found, but it shouldn't be that hard for me when I'm specifically looking for it to go and find it. So that just kind of goes to the same mentality of, I'm not trying to get back into filter talk, but what I'm trying to say is that mentality of, it would just be nice if it was right there. Give us that good stuff on your website. So anyway, I would absolutely love more of that. I'd love to PoE my computer up.
One thing I like about that post is the one person's comment relatively high up, because it's the Atlas. They basically were looking for the Atlas as the Conquerors of the Atlas map.
Yep.
As a background, and the person says this wallpaper would constantly give me anxiety, as I clearly have so much progression to do because it's unfinished.
That's right.
It's completely unfinished, but that's cool. I like that too.
So yeah, it was a really cool week this week. Lots to figure out and talk about, and I love the teaser. Can't wait to see what that's all about. Seems neat. Some massive skills.
I like it. Teasing me for 315. Well done, GGG. All right, let's wrap it up. Episode 90. Forever Exiled, the Path of Exile podcast. I'm Justin, a.k.a. Tags.
Tyler, Record of Days.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you're looking for more information, you can find our website down below, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have Discord. Pop on in and say hi if you're not on there. And if you're looking for any of our Patreon information, it's down below. Patrons will catch you in After Dark, and everybody else will see you in episode 91.
Dang.
Bye.
You know what's weird? The house is quiet. Like, I was just going to go make sure my kids are okay.
My kids came back. My kids came back. I heard them. I was like...